Pulse Asia survey shows re-electionist Senator Grace Poe as the current frontrunner in the 2019 senatorial elections with 70.8% voters' preference. The so-called winner's circle or top 20 is dominated by incumbent or former senators. Senator Cynthia Villar has 55.6%, Nancy Binay 45.8%, Sonny Angara 44.9%, Bam Aquino 30.5%, JV Ejercito 29%, while Senate President Coco Pimentel has 39.8%. Former Senators Sergio Osmeña has 38%, Lito Lapid 33%, Chinko Estrada 32.8%, and Taguig City Representative Pia Cayetano at 53.8%. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio has 43.8%, broadcaster Erwin Tulfo 36.7%, former Philippine National Police Chief Ronald De La Rosa 33.1%, and Ilocos Norte Governor Amy Marcos 32.2%. Other names that were earlier floated for the senatorial race but ranked outside the top 20 in the Pulse Asia survey are presidential spokesperson Harry Roque Jr. at 27 to 36 places, Special Assistant to the President Bongo at 28 to 38 places, and Communications Assistant Secretary Mocha Uson, who ranked 40th to 56 places. At least 13 drug suspects are killed in the Philippine National Police's anti-illegal drug operations Friday, just a day after new National Police Chief Oscar Albayalde was sworn into office. Bulacan cops conduct a province-wide simultaneous operation on illegal drugs, a renamed version of provincial PNP's one-time big-time operations. Police begin operations early morning Friday. As of noontime, 13 are killed and 58 are arrested from 49 anti-drugs operations. All the slain suspects supposedly fought back or nanlaban. The operations led to the seizure of 72.04 grams of shabu and 510.9 grams of marijuana, valued at around 488,000 pesos. Some 15 pieces of various firearms are also recovered. These deaths will add to the more than 4,000 death toll in anti-drug operations as counted by the government. Human rights groups say the death toll has reached around 12,000. President Rodrigo Duterte orders Labor Secretary Sylvester Bello III to draw up an inventory of companies engaged in labor-only contracting. Along with the inventory, Duterte orders DOLE to submit a comprehensive report on its implementation of its Department Orders No. 174 and 183, both of which deal with implementing rules for the enforcement of the Labor Code. Duterte's order comes after Malacanang said the president will not sign an executive order to end contractualization. But Duterte's memorandum is just a reiteration and affirmation of DOLE's job to crack down on illegal labor practices, since labor-only contracting is illegal according to the Labor Code. Bello had previously reiterated this in his labor advisories and department orders. The European Parliament adopts a resolution calling on the Philippines to end extrajudicial killings in President Rodrigo Duterte's anti-drug campaign. The EU Parliament notes the death of around 12,000 people in the Philippine anti-drug campaign, saying it strongly condemns the high number of extrajudicial killings. It also expresses grave concern over reports that the Philippine National Police is falsifying evidence to justify extrajudicial killings. Malacanang calls the European Parliament's remarks as interference and asks it to exercise prudence in issuing resolutions. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says, quote, "They said 12,000 have died. Where are the corpses? Where are the lawsuits filed by the 12,000 victims?" Newly installed PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde questions the basis of the resolution. Albayalde insists there are no extrajudicial killings in the country. Roque also finds it inconsistent that the European Parliament should oppose a campaign against illegal drugs when the European Union has provided assistance for it. In March, the EU gave 242 million pesos to the Philippines for drug rehabilitation centers and not law enforcement operations against illegal drugs. The palace then thanked the EU for the assistance, which came with no strings attached. The EU Parliament also reiterates its call for the release of detained Senator Lilo de Lima and says it strongly regrets the Philippines' decision to initiate its withdrawal from the International Criminal Court. In the same resolution, the EU Parliament urges Philippine officials to remove human rights defenders, including United Nations Special Rapporteur on Human Rights Victoria Taudi Corpuz, from its list of terrorists. It also calls on the Philippines to stop banning the entry into the country of persons who are perceived as critics of President Duterte's policies. This days after the Philippines blocked a party of European socialist officials from entering the Philippines and after Duterte admitted ordering a probe into an Australian nun who fights for human rights. Leaked memos show United States President Donald Trump repeatedly complained to former FBI Director James Comey about the probe into Russian meddling in the 2016 election. The U.S. Department Thursday releases the memos to Congress. The memos can become evidence in a criminal investigation into whether Trump consciously tried to obstruct the probe. In the memorandum dated March 30, 2017, Trump told Comey, quote, he was trying to run the country and the cloud of this Russia business was making that difficult. 11 days later, Trump again pressed Comey about the Russia thing. Comey wrote the memos immediately after several meetings with Trump in the weeks after his inauguration on January 20, 2017. The former FBI chief makes clear in his memos that he was uncomfortable with the pressure and that it was not completely proper. Weeks after the last conversation on May 9 last year, Trump fired Comey. Trump later said he decided to dismiss the FBI chief in part out of unhappiness over the Russia probe.